This is Rowena Dooley asking Sol citizens to report for duty. Dooley asking Sol citizens to report for duty.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? Greetings. Welcome back to Soul Voices. I'm GriffinGamingRPG, and thank you for being with me today. Today is April the 20th, third weekend of the month, and I'm so happy that you guys could join us. Hope you guys are doing well. Thank you, Fast Cart. You got the links. I appreciate that. Hope you guys are doing well. Today's a nice day in the Shy. Things are going pretty good. I had a great day today. I got to hang out with one of our Soul friends. I'm going to actually adopt that from both Disco Lando and from Captain Jones. I'm going to give a shout out to both of them, Disco Lando and Captain Jones. For some of you who don't know the history behind this, one day on SCL, Jarrett was talking about the different community people and creators, and he made reference to the Soul Citizens, and he had a very short blank out moment for a second, where he thought about us and he said Soul Friends, and he said, nope, Soul Citizens. And so we've kind of had a little running joke amongst ourselves that from time to time we would say Soul Friends as a way to kind of have a laugh. And evidently Jarrett took it in good stride too. We gave him a little mug that said Soul Citizens on one front and Soul Citizens on Soul Friends on the back. And so he kind of chuckled when we gave it to him. So Captain Jones is always called us Soul Friends when he drops in. So we're going to call folks Soul Friends, right? You Soul Citizens, Soul Friends. But I met with someone today, and it was Radarid. Rad has been a good friend of ours. We met him at CitizenCon last year. Had a great time. A picture with him. I won't show his picture because maybe he doesn't want his picture shown. But anyway, he was at CitizenCon last year and hung out at our table. And he told me he was going to be in town this weekend for a what do you call it? Like a convention. And so I picked him up at his hotel. We went out and had breakfast, and we had a great time. And it was a lot of fun. And so I just dropped him off about an hour ago because he's continuing with his convention. And I came home so I could be here with you guys. And then after the show today, I'm going to be leaving with another good friend of mine, Aztec Sun, who's become a part of the Soul Citizens community just recently. And we're going to be going to the Chicago Bar Citizen, which is going to be held out in Downers Grove today. And so that's being hosted by Maiden Ariana. Looking forward to seeing a lot of folks there. This is going to be a part of the global worldwide Bar Citizens that CIG is also helping to co-sponsor. And so if I'm not mistaken, I think that who's going to be there? I think Galactica is going to be there and Dr. Chad McKinney. Or is it Jake Acapella? I don't know. But anyway, yeah, we're going to have CIG people there. So it's going to be really cool. It's going to be this evening from 5 our time till about 10 o'clock tonight or 11 o'clock tonight. So yeah, it's going to be good to hang out with some more of the backers and citizens and all those folks. So anyway, Rad, shout out to you. I know you're in your meeting right now, but I had a great time having breakfast with you today, and it was good seeing you again. All right, so let me jump into it. This is kind of a mixed bag show today. Usually I kind of have a theme, but there's a little bit of a theme here today. And the title for today is Why So Serious? Some of us know we've heard that phrase before. We're going to be talking about why so serious in a little bit. But we're also going to have some fun. We're not going to make it all about being serious. But I do want to open up with and by the way, for those of you who've never been here for Soul Voices before, this is our show where it's a one-on-one, where you can come in and share your thoughts with me on the topics that I pick. I pick them from Spectrum or Reddit or the gaming industry, or maybe it's just something that pops in my head that I see that's going on in the community. But it's usually all in some way or other Star Citizen related. So the first one that we're going to do today is a topic that I picked up that came from Spectrum. And this was a post. We're going to put the link out there for you guys to check out. And the title of this post was, what do we have 12 years after the Kickstarter started? Just factual facts. Just factual facts. And this is by Axrotalus. Let's see. So we're going to kind of read this because I think there are facts here. There are facts here. So I don't want to take anything away from it. There are definitely some facts here. But I also want to see if there are any other facts that maybe we don't hear about. So let's read this together, okay? Here we go. What do we have after 12 years after Kickstarter? Just factual facts. We have a space sim that allows charge-free travel, which is really cool, right? We have great ships. It's true. Some ships have no meaningful in-game function besides traveling, such as the Starfarer or the 890 or the Star Runner, aka the Mercury. We have a space sim without a finished flight model. We have no comprehensible or meaningful physics. We have a maximum of 100 players per server. We have one star system out of 100 promised. We have a developer who does not manage to implement 5 quest contracts without errors. See Overdrive, the one that we are doing currently, as you guys know about Overdrive Initiative. What else do we have? We have 171 ships out of 231 that are in game. I estimate that it currently takes between 6 to 24 months to get a ship into the game. We have very large ships that are not technically feasible. We have servers with ticket rates. With tick rates? I'm sorry, tick rates. They put a K, tick rates. Tick rates between 2 and 10. No progress recognizable for many years. By the way, this post just came out yesterday. This is not an old post, okay? We have a game that forgets all quests when you log out. We have servers that confront us with complete crashes. We still get tier 0.5, tier 1 implementations after 12 years. And no gameplay features is finished. No gameplay feature is finished. Okay. What do we have? Just facts. Those are facts and just the facts. In fact, they're not only facts, they're factual facts of what we have. Give me your thoughts. What do we have? Are those facts that are listed there by Axrotalus the facts? Are those all the facts? Are they some of the facts? Are they partially facts? Are they alternative facts? What kind of facts are they to you? Okay. Are they valid? Are they invalid? Are some of them valid? Are all of them valid? Are they all invalid? I'd love to hear from you. So you guys don't forget, you can click on the link and come in and join me. And I would love to hear what you guys think about this. Love to hear your voices and hear what you have to say. So I'm going to bring Pops and Space in first because Pops is in the gate already. And let's see what he has to say. Pops, are you there? Pops is muted. Pops is still muted. And there he is.
Okay. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Okay. Okay. Well, some of the things he's saying are true.
Okay.
Some of the things could be further explained. Just, Chris is building 2 games. Everybody went to work on, well, majority of people went to work on Squadron 42. Now they're over on the Persistent Universe working. So that has bearing on what he's saying.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. We are getting the second star system. The difference between the how we got the first one and the second one. The first one we got planets at a time. This next one we're getting the full system all at once. So that's a bit of a change.
Okay.
Let's see. Gameplay features. They're working on them. Bugs. That's what we're doing. We're testing bugs, but he's kind of 50-50-ish in my opinion.
Okay.
Could use a little bit more explanations to him, but
okay.
Yeah.
So let's say if I were to give you a rating pop from 1 to 100, and you would say from 0 he's completely wrong to 100 he's right, where would you put him? Roughly, just give me a rough estimate.
60-40.
60. Okay, you're saying 60-40 correct or 60? 60. You could just say 60%. I just want to know how much of it is correct. Don't worry about the wrong part. How much of it do you agree with?
40% is correct.
Oh, 40% is correct. Okay.
40%.
And you think 60% of what he's saying is wrong?
Yeah.
Okay.
It just needs a little bit more explanation, because when you leave something without, it leaves it in that. Yeah.
Okay. It feels like it's contingent upon some things, maybe. Okay. I got you.
Yeah,
all right. Okay.
A little spice.
All right. Okay, Pops. Thank you very much. All right. Let me bring in Fist to Face next. Fist, are you there?
Hey, what's happening?
Okay.
So my thing is that, okay, he's saying 12 years after Kickstarter. Well, I know we discussed this before, right? And one of the things that you said it yourself in about the point of fact that when we had the planetary tech with you guys, I wasn't around at this time, where all you had was you couldn't fly directly from space to the planet, right? How much did that push the game back?
Okay. Okay.
So reason why I'm making that point is because he's talking about it as if like, okay, well, 12 years of development. Okay. We don't have this, we don't have that, we just have a flight simulation that's not fully complete.
Okay.
Yeah. But during that development time, let's say if they didn't do the whole space to planet, right, thing, would the game be would the game be far along more than where it is? Yeah, probably.
Maybe. It could be.
Probably.
Could
right?
be. Yeah.
It could be.
Yeah.
Right. So you've got he's not. I don't think a lot of people, like you said it before, take that into account.
Well, what about some of his other points? Like he says, we have ships where the features aren't working, or we've got one system when we were supposed to have 100 promised. He says we have great ships, right? No comprehensible or meaningful physics in the game. They put out this quest with the Overdrive initiative, and it's still buggy. What about those points?
I think to that point though is that, again, the tech. I think where the tech is. I mean, I think it's still in its infancy.
Okay. Even after 12 years?
So
even after 12 years?
I'll be honest with you. I mean, you have to look at it where it is, though.
Okay.
I mean, just being honest from at this point.
Okay.
So.
Okay. So from you, let's get your rating. From 0 being he's completely wrong to 100%, I agree absolutely. Where would you put your vote? What number? I don't have to worry about the right or the wrong. Just give me the right. What number would you say he's right? What percentage?
I'd say about 30% he's right.
Wow, 30% right. 70% of this is wrong, you're saying?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. That's your vote. All right, Fist. Thank you, brother. All right. Let me bring in Stunner. Hey, Stunner.
Hey, what's going on, Griff?
Not much.
I did some quick math too. So
okay. All right.
So first of all, there's 15 statements there.
Okay.
I agree with 3 of them, but one of them is completely subjective. I agree we have great ships. That cannot be a fact by its very nature.
Okay.
So throw that out. There's 14 left.
Okay.
So the only 2 that I can agree with him are factual, the way he has written them, are no gameplay feature is finished.
Okay.
That's true. But I don't know why you would expect that out of an alpha.
Okay.
And then also we are confronted by servers with complete crashes. Yes, that is true. So that gives him a 0.14% correctness. 14% correct.
Okay. Give me one item on that list that you say why you disagree with them. You gave me the ones you agree with. Give me one that you disagree with.
We have servers with tick rates between 2 and 10, with no progress recognizable for many years. That's not true at all. We've seen plenty of progress over the years go both forward and backwards, and part of that is because it is an alpha and they keep implementing more things. So the progress goes forward, the progress goes backwards, the progress goes forward again with all the extra stuff and new stuff we have in.
Okay.
The other thing too, like some ships have no meaningful in-game function besides traveling. It's true until he adds the extra there. The Starfarer does have meaningful in-game function. It can actually do refueling.
Okay.
It may not work the greatest, and it might not be necessary if it's standard, but it does do that, which is something you can't do with other. And even the Star Runner, even if you say it doesn't have all the features of its intended purpose, you can carry more vehicles in a Star Runner than you can in other ships its size.
Okay.
You can use it as a cargo ship, use it as a smuggling ship, so it definitely has meaningful in-game, just besides traveling. So
Okay. All right. So once again, your rating from 0 being he's completely wrong to 100%, I completely agree. Where would you land?
He's only 14% right.
14%. Wow, the numbers are dropping. Okay.
Well, hey, he's the one that said factual facts.
Factual facts. Okay. All right, Stutter. Thank you. All right. Let me bring in Kaizen. Hey, Kai.
What up?
What's up? What up? How are you?
I'm going to take a slightly different approach and viewpoint to this than I think pretty much everybody else. You want a number? What percent correct is he? He's 100% correct.
Okay.
And here's why. It's all subjective. This is his points. Based on his metrics, he believes that all of this shit ain't good enough and he don't like it. And you can't tell him he's wrong to feel his feels. Now, based on my metrics, he's nowhere near correct.
Okay.
Because people are trying to turn this into like facts, numbers. I got this. I'm right. You're wrong. Just stop. You're not going to convince people that don't like the hot dog that it's a great hot dog. Either you like it or you don't like it. If you like it, mazel tov, enjoy, have another. If you don't like it, move on and just chill. Everybody has to convince you, no, Android sucks. iPhone's the best. Oh, PlayStation, God, the Xbox sucks.
Yeah.
Like everybody's trying to convert everybody. Y'all Jehovah's Witnesses need to just chill the F out and let people have whatever their opinions are.
So let me counter you for a second.
All right.
I wrestle with the dynamic of people using the term facts.
Yes.
Because facts can be subjective.
Yes.
Truth can often not be subjective. And telling the truth, let me finish. Telling the truth. If my child does something, she goes out and breaks the law, speeding. And she says, well, Dad, I wasn't speeding. And if I say, well, the camera that took your picture says you were speeding, and the insurance meter in the car says you were speeding, and someone said they saw you driving very fast and blew through the light and you were speeding, you can't tell me, well, that's subjective. There's enough evidence there that leans toward the fact that the truth is you were speeding, regardless to your feels, regardless to your opinion, you were speeding. There are situations where facts are facts and truth is truth. And facts can be based upon people's experiences, what they come out of, maybe somebody who doesn't have enough information, and they may say this is a fact, and maybe they don't have all the information, but it's not the truth. The truth can be something entirely different. And I think that we've gotten into this thing, not you, but I'm speaking in society, of getting into this thing about facts. And when we dismiss them as being subjective, we automatically now give room for people to be wrong, even to their detriment. My parents, hopefully, didn't raise me with an attitude of, well, you can do whatever you do and you can find out later. I would hope that my parents raised me hoping that the facts and truths that they told me would be leading me toward being and doing the right things in life, not like necessarily just experimenting my life away on subjective reasoning. And then one day I come to hopefully the right conclusion. So the reason why I'm emphasizing the fact that this person, not you, but the person decides to re-emphasize that their facts are factual, right? They made a deliberate statement of saying not just facts, but factual facts. Like what I'm saying.
Right.
And to your point, this person feels that what they're saying is the truth about the game.
So what I'm pointing out is that this person's facts
to them
are factual to their viewpoint.
And I agree.
That will be different depending on who you ask, such as if you ask your daughter, or if you look at your daughter's speeding ticket and it says that she was traveling 63 miles an hour in a 35 mile an hour zone. Well, number one, you need to have a talk to that child because you got to slow down. But number two, would it surprise you to find out that she is not, in fact, traveling 65 or 63 miles an hour, but in fact, the entire planet is traveling 287,000 miles, an hour around the sun.
Right.
And that we are actually, this solar system is traveling millions of miles, on a far western arm of the spiral galaxy. There's lots of shit where when you look at it, you could say, well, this and this. And I'm just saying this guy is 100% right on his criteria of these small facts. His answer doesn't match anywhere near mine. I would point out, right, that you have situations like, Marquez just did a big review on that wearable piece of tech that it shoots like it talks, we use AI and it shoots a little laser at your hand for a display and whatever. And he basically said, this is dog shit.
Right.
Okay. And you could go to a movie, you could go see Dune 2, right? You could go see it maybe 3 months before it comes out, and it's dog shit because they're still getting the last of the CGI just right, and they got to tweak this, and they want to color filter that. Now, what percentage of the movie is done? Well, you could say the movie's like 99% done because it took years to write it, to storyboard it, to cast it, to get the crew, to send them all over, the deserts of Africa or whatever, filming, and then to go into post-production and to do this and to do that. And you could say the movie's 99% done because we've been working on this for damn near a decade.
Right.
And we're at the point now where it's going to be ready to come out in 2-3 months. But you could also look at it from the standpoint of if someone actually saw the footage we have now, they would give it an F and say, this is dog shit. Right. But if you do that last 3 months of tweaking and whatever to get it to the finish line,
right? It becomes
they give
amazing.
it an A+ and says it blows my mind. It's the greatest thing ever.
Right.
So with something like this, like a video game, this is not a situation of how fast were you going? Well, the radar gun gives this 2-digit number. Yeah. This is a situation of this is a product much like a movie, a major video game. It takes so long to do. And it's very subjective to say how far along are we. You could say we're halfway there. Right. You could say we're nowhere near. I think if you were to ask everyone in here, or if you were to do a topic tomorrow or next week and say, how far along is Star Citizen? How close to done is it? You might have people that hate the game that give you vastly different numbers. You might have people that love the game that give you vastly different numbers. Right. This is all a thing where it's not done until it's released. Yeah. And I mean, even then it'll have future iterations, but at least at that point, you'll say we have a released product. Yeah. But right now it's like, well, how close is it to that? Well, to me, it seems like from where it is this year to where it was a year ago or 2 years ago, it is picking up speed so fast. It is moving so well towards a good product that's ready to be released in a 1.0 state. Yeah. I feel like they're doing great work and it is having fantastic, progress or whatever, but I can understand that other people might not see it the way I do, and they might, like this guy, say, it's been all these years and it's still a crap product. Yes, it's a crap product. It's not ready to be released yet. Right. But it's so much better and so much farther along. And so it's like, to what extent does your personal taste, does your personal patience, whatever, if it's giving you agita, if you can't live with it right now, do yourself a favor. walk away, go play some BattleTech, go play some Helldivers, go play some whatever. Come back in a year or two, you'll have fun, whatever. But if you're enjoying the ride, mazel tov, enjoy it for what it is right now.
Fair enough.
Love you, brother.
Fair enough.
I'm
You too, dude. Thank you, man. All right, that's Kaizen, the KZ. Let me bring in, I think Admiral was next. Admiral Kusanagi. Admiral.
Hey, sir, how's it going?
All right, we got 3 going downward, 1 agreeing, saying yes, this guy's right from his perspective. And you tell me your thoughts about this.
I feel like the last opinion was still going down, the other perspective. But
okay.
Can you put this first screen?
Sure,
back
first
up
one back up. Sure. Yeah, absolutely.
I'll go down the list here. So, okay, yes, we get to travel around. It's really cool. Really great ships. Amazing. Planetary scapes, spacescapes, everything like that. The Starfarer, if the Starfarer is being used, people are paying people to use it.
Okay.
And if it doesn't break after the first or second ship, then I'd be surprised.
Okay.
The 890, I don't see anybody enjoying the kitchen, the dining room and stuff like that, and having, spending time there. I have heard some people in like orgs having meetings on it.
Right.
But not really the intention of the 890. 890 is supposed to do XYZ and not doing it. It's not touring the galaxy.
Okay.
The Star Runner, I mean, I could throw, mulch in the back of my my car, my sedan, and use it to do landscaping, but it's still, just because it can do that.
It's supposed to be a data runner, right? Data runner.
It's supposed to be data running. So, does it, because the whole cargo, can I put a rock in it? Sure. It's really cool that it does. I also, as a reminder, it's supposed to be it's supposed to have variants, so there will be other Star Runners out there. That's why they changed it to the Mercury.
Okay.
Now the other stuff, we're just getting master modes. Master modes is being based off of what's being put into Squadron 42. Squadron 42 is, I think this person forgot, is their primary game that they're trying to get out the door first.
Okay.
And it's been that way for a few years. And all that coding and stuff like now is being put into the game. So whether that master modes is going to be the final product for the MMO version, I don't know, but it's getting close.
Okay.
The physics, I have a complaint that there's no weight to some items. Some things just don't seem like they're heavy. Like you drive a Spartan around, sometimes it's too heavy, sometimes it doesn't drive really. This issue with some physics,
right?
Certainly. We know that the 100 players are getting upped with the testing environment, so that's getting changed. We know we're getting more than one star system, but we also know that they have to be able, if they're going to put out one new star system a year, many of us are going to be very old playing this game when they get to 100. So there needs to be. I'm hoping they have at least. They're going to get to a way to do 10 per year is kind of like my hopes eventually, but that could be 5+ years out. Now the last one is an interesting one because you guys are talking and I was thinking, here I am playing Helldivers 2 and I'm having a great old time, and then I hear the last mission is screwing up and I'm like, oh yeah, Tessa Bannister, I remember that back in the day in 2016. The last mission you could never finish. So and there's I could see where someone might get a little bit upset and think about nothing's changing and updating.
Right.
I think we're at a point now. I think there's a lot of, I'm not going to say hopium because there is a lot of change that we're seeing now, even for those who play other games, that it's getting to a better place. So I think the person's a little off that he's complaining now about stuff that's going to be changed literally around the corner. And I think that, I don't know why he's talking about it in terms of if he said this last year, I could agree with them, but to say it now is kind of off-putting.
And that was
because
that's why I said that this post, I was surprised at this. I didn't want people to think that maybe I was pulling an old post. This post literally was done yesterday. So, okay. Go ahead, I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's just kind of an odd thing. So I mean, maybe when this thing comes out, maybe he'll be like, "Oh, we only have 2 star systems now out of 100 promise." I mean, I've been very critical about the 100 promise. I've been like, "Well, they need at least 20 or 30 when the game comes out." Many of you have been like, 5 would be good just to be 1.0. But I'm hoping for more, to have more of these. More exploration available right off the bat. I mean, he talks about physics and everything, and I'm like, well, where's the where's the gameplay in terms of like science or exploration or engineering and stuff like that. That's where I like to hit on.
So what would you?
I don't want to take your time.
That's okay. So what would be your grade from 0 being he's way off to 100% he's right on? Where would you land?
I think from today, I think I'd give him an 80.
80%.
But I mean,
okay.
I think I wouldn't even bring it up. I mean, because it's everybody knows what's the 100 players per server thing. I mean, we know that's almost like a range where they're like, they have like 85 to 120 servers going. Kind of sort of averages maybe to 100 player servers. But we know we've heard that they're already testing like 400 person servers in the EPTU, the EPTU.
Right.
So it's just like if this person is on the up and up and he knows what people are talking about, he's watching the ISCs, then he wouldn't even bring this up. I feel like this person is just like not as informed as he could be.
Okay, fair enough. All right, we'll go with the 80%. Thank you, Admiral. All right, last but not least, the one and the only, we're going to bring in Togi.
What up?
Hey, what's up, buddy?
Oh, chilling.
Good.
So I'm going to push back on your analogy here.
Okay.
Right? I think that most of these are facts. 80% are facts, because facts are statements that can be answered in a true or false.
Okay.
All right. Truth is a narrative that is informed by facts.
True. Very true. Very true. I would agree.
You by omitting or accepting certain facts, you can drive particular narratives.
I agree.
And while 80% of what he's saying is fact, the truth that he's trying to what's the word I'm looking for, build out of that is maybe not as true as 80%.
Okay.
It's a lot more common, like looking at we have a 5 mission quest and one of them's broke. Yeah.
Right.
But we've gotten a lot quite a bit of new quests in 323.
Right.
Most of them seem to work. That changes that from this 20% are broken to maybe 3% or 5% are broken.
Yeah.
Having no comprehensible or meaningful physics is just wrong.
Yeah. I would say, I don't think you're pushing back. I'm going to tell you my surprise answer. I'm glad you said what you said, because I agree with you 100%. I didn't necessarily say that what this person was saying was wrong. In fact, I never did. I've just been taking other people's surveys of wondering what they think about it. I think what he said is right. And I'm going to go a little bit more toward Kai's saying from a certain perspective. And I'm going to go with what you said, though, is that in order to find truth, you have to get the facts, gather the facts, and then hopefully come to a conclusion that you can say is definitely something less subjective and more objective. So I would agree with you 100% on that point. Let's use one of the ones that he used here that I would push back on that he has. And it's the one where he says that we have 1 star system out of 100 promised. CIG has not promised anything. The promised word is what nullifies that for me. CIG says we want to build a system that has up to 100 systems. That's what Chris has said. He's never said, I promise you, we're going to make 100 systems. He said, we want to build out 100 systems. Maybe they'll build out 150 one day, maybe 200. But they've just said that that's their goal. That's what they're shooting for. And in a development process, if you understand that, they're saying that's what we would like to be able to do. So the fact that he has made this is written in concrete, and it also is not happening right at the beginning when 1.0 comes out, they had made themselves invalid. So that's where I would have a problem with what he's saying. I'm not having a problem with the fact that we are looking for, if he says we're looking forward to having more systems, I would agree. But the fact that he has made it this demonstrative thing that if we don't have 100 systems as promised, then they fail. Then that's where I would disagree with him.
I'm not sure how you would define promised, because as I understand, I mean, again, like I came in a little bit later.
Yeah.
In 2017. But as I understood it, those 100 systems were part of the Kickstarter extended goals.
They are. And that's the term. They're part of the goals. You just use the exact same word. It's a goal. That is what they're shooting for. That's what they would like to be able to do. And that is the understanding. When you go into any Kickstarter, there is a dynamic that says that we may not be able to, matter of fact, we may not even launch the project commercially. It could fail. So to work off the assumption that it is, I'm not saying that it won't happen, guys. I believe they will do it. I'm just saying I think this person is basing it around we only have 1 when we should have 100. And,
and I mean, I would say that we don't even have one right now.
I agree because what we have is still being built out even now. You got some planetary bodies out there, but like you said, to have what we want to consider a system, it's not completely there. Not to mention the mechanics and other things that need to come along with it. So I agree with many things that I understand what this person is trying to say, right? Interestingly enough, one of the other ones he had was, what was it? Let me go. I think it's on the other page. Let me throw all this under one blanket that I know you're not going to like, Togi, but I'm going to throw it under the blanket. The blanket for me is that all this stuff is what happens when you're in alpha. That's it. It's not a finished commercial product. Now, the expectation, I understand the expectation that when things move from PTU to live, there's an expectation of a certain level of playability that we expect to have so that we can play the game. My only problem with that is that sometimes players do not leave room for the fact that whether you're in the PTU, EPTU, preview channel, you are always testing something that's not finished. And unless it moves from a status of alpha to beta and then final, even though we may not like it, even though we say, why is it still in alpha 10, 12 years later? As long as it has that label on it, there is a waiver that says that things are not going to be operating to their fullest function. Ships are not going to have all their computers working. You're going to have placeholders. You're going to have that little red ball that pops up in the middle of the floor. That's a part of being where we are right now. And I think we expect more because sometimes when we see progress, we feel like the game should be further along than it is. And maybe in some ways we could say it should be because it has been a decent amount of time.
The only part of that I would push back on, all right, is again, when we were talking about how facts, influence a narrative, is that CIG only lets the fact that Star Citizen is an alpha be part of that narrative when it benefits them, when they want to use it as a shield to protect themselves from community's perceived failures in what they're doing.
Could be. Is it an excuse or is it a reality, though? I mean, not to be funny. The label is alpha. It's never changed. Is it an excuse?
But I mean, are alphas inherently playable now?
No. Playables are not playable now. I agree. Not normally. I agree with you on that. I agree with you on that.
And that's one of those things where CIG leaves that truth out of their marketing when it is convenient.
I got you. No, I got you. And we've had this conversation talking about the fact that playable now is not, and it's funny because like playable now will be, I'm just using an example. Playable now will be in 32-point font and alpha 2 point whatever will be in 16-point font, right?
it's the very fine.
Right. And it doesn't help.
I mean, let me bust out my concierge monocle to see that.
No, that's very true. And it doesn't help when, remember how we had a little bit of rage when they started publishing on YouTube, right? When the commercials started coming up, right? And I think we don't want other people to come in, but we know how gamers are. They're not going to see all that printing. They're just going to see this exciting looking game that looks like, people are running around and shooting and running through cargo buildings and all this other stuff and flying with their girlfriend on a bike or their boyfriend on a bike. And they come in saying, whoa, this is wow, only to find out that when they get in there's some stumbling blocks. My buddy right now, Aztec, first thing I told him when we came into the game, I said, listen, this is an alpha and we're working on it. And every once in a while he'll say, well, why isn't this working? I said, it's an alpha. Why is there? It's an alpha, because you come in and things look so great and you play them. And I understand it, but yeah, I'm not in disagreement with this person. I agree with what Kai said that from this person's perspective, yes, they may feel this way. I agree with what Stunner said, or whoever was just came in before me, Admiral Kusanagi, maybe his level of facts is not there. Yesterday they did, I don't know if you saw on SCL, Chad McKinney was talking about weight in ships. Yeah. And we did that show last week on cargo, and we talked about the load master and whether or not the load master, whether it would get so deep that not only would load masters have to make sure the right boxes go someplace, but whether or not even balancing a ship would be a factor. Lo and behold, yesterday, Chad McKinney says, we're looking at that. We're looking at weight actually being a factor of how you load ships, right? So, to see that those type of things are what they're thinking about implementing to me is a positive. My problem with this post, and this is not this person's fault, but there are some other people who do this. I won't say who they are in the community. It's very easy to find the negatives and not also highlight what are the positives. He gave 2 things in here that work, or 3 things that work. And there's more in the game that work. You even mentioned that there are some missions that do work, that there aren't problems with. So over the 12 years, what do we have? We do have some things that don't work. We have some areas in the game that are problematic. And some of those problems have existed for 3, 5, 7 years. Some things, elevators, well, they're not as bad now. But I know my buddy Robert talks about mining. Sometimes you go out mining, you go to a rock, you're supposed to get there, and the rock's empty. There's nothing there. And that's been around for a while, right? But then there are other things that have been implemented in the game that do work, that we've had for quite a while, that we're happy with. And so I think that we can mention these as being facts, you know, from a certain perspective, that there are facts to some of these things here. I think some of the facts may be a little bit leaning in some areas on some of these things. But at the same time, I don't know what the other measures are that he's measuring against. Is he measuring this against any other type of, and I know this is a unique situation. Is there another game development situation like this to use as the barometer to say whether we're on time, late, or ahead? Is there some other game that we can say that we've seen they did this, and when they did it, it only took them this long? Why is it taking CIG so long? And unfortunately, we don't have a metric out there that's so unique like this that we can compare to say whether they're ahead or behind. I know we can go by what we feel, and some of us are backseat quarterbacks, you know what I mean? Thinking, you know, backseat developers, you know, that we think they should be.
The way that I always explain it is, if you want to build the world's tallest building, the only metric you have for how long it takes is to take the current world's longest building and add a plus sign.
Okay, I can't beat that one. You got me on that one. I think I'll close this topic out on that, but I think that's a good way to look at it. All right, Togi. Thank you, brother. All righty. Okay. Very good. You guys shared some good stuff, and hopefully you guys kind of saw where we were going with this. I did not want to necessarily say this person is wrong or they're a hater or anything like that. I think some people, you know, Kai said the fact that this person, from his perspective, these are the things that bug him, and this is what's important to them. And I agree, this probably is for them. For me, I could look at many of these and find reasons to respond back, and it'll probably sound like I'm white knighting maybe a little bit. But some of these things I would disagree with. Stunner mentioned some of the things that's not always the case. Yes, sometimes the servers do go down to a low tick rate, but there are other times when we played the game and the tick rate is running at 20 and 30, and we're having a great time in the game. And I think that they need to balance things. But I am a little worried about those facts speech I gave y'all about facts and truth, y'all, but that's just me personally. All right, let's move on to this next one here. This one's a little bit more lighthearted. It's a great one. I think you guys will have fun with this one. I actually stole this one from a friend of mine. CaptainSeriiousFun posted this on Reddit yesterday. He said, so I figured out a way to open loot boxes in the EPTU. But what, may I ask CIG, is this? Check this out. This is very cool. He dug this up yesterday. He found a way to go into the loot box, right? And when he goes in the loot box, he finds this item. I know some of you have already heard about this because it seemed like it kind of spread like wildfire, right? But kudos to him for, first of all, figuring out how to get into a freaking loot box. And then secondly, he finds this item. And what we find out is, Captain, or if you're here, I would love for you to drop in if you are here. I know you were in chat, but I would rather you talk about this more than me talk about it, because I'm talking about it from a third person perspective. There he is. He's here. You there?
Okay.
Hey, how are you?
I am. What's going on?
Good. Could you give some people some background behind what we're looking at?
Well, it was a fact that I found this item. It's my opinion that it's cool.
Okay, I'll go with that. Now tell us the truth. Tell us the truth. If you can tell us the truth, you on point. Okay.
No, for those of you, and I got feedback last night that this loot boxes have actually been fixed. But if they haven't been fixed in the EPTU, when you go down to, say, a mining settlement or something like that, and we do some looting, go ahead and hit I for inventory. Turn your camera so that you can see yourself. I kneel in front of the box. Turn the camera so you can see yourself, and you can see the box, and you can see the local pillar for inventory. You can click and hold on the big red boxes or the big gray and white boxes and drag them all in totality as a box over to local. And then you can drill down in the local window into the box and get the items out, right? So that was a workaround for one of these patches of the EPTU. I don't know if it's been fixed, if loot boxes have been fixed. If they haven't, then you can try this. So I tried that because I was just super frustrated with not being able to do my normal looting of the Hurston mining settlements. And I found this item. And this item presents as an RSI item, right? So we've got an item that we can put on our inventory, put on our bodies, put on a backpack that is from a ship manufacturer, which already is a little bit interesting and different, right? And then on the one side of this, it says RSI. On the other side, it says on, and there's a button, right? So you can put the item down on the ground and you can activate it, and it activates a steady oscillating, or not steady, steady and oscillating are two opposite things. It is a bright blue light that slowly goes in and out. That's how I experienced it. Jade Starwatcher found one of these as well last night, and she was able to see the light from a massive distance, right? So then I put it into my inventory, and the description of it was also very interesting. The description said Medivac Flare. So you've got RSI as a ship manufacturer of the item. You've got Medivac Flare as the name of the item. Sounds like it's directly associated with the Apollo Medivac ship. And we know that CIG is working on the RSI family of ships, right? So at that point, speculation ran rampant. We went from truth and facts and opinion to hopium and speculation and desire and want. Right. And right out of the area that made any sense into the area of just wanting what we want when we want it. But it was cool to find. And for me, it reflected what you and I have talked about a lot, which is I want gamers to stay gaming, right? Continue to try different things, do different things, look at different things. Don't wait for CIG to tell us that we can do something in the game. Don't wait for them to give us the framework to do it. Let's take the box that we have. Yes, it's EPTU of a alpha with Vulcan in beta, right? We got all that stuff. Yeah. Right. Last night we couldn't move 5 feet without getting a server error and having to wait, right? Like, so that stuff happens. But, you know, if you're built for this testable alpha journey, then one of the ways I find to enjoy it is to just try different things. So this was a result of that.
So let me ask you a question. Thank you. And thank you for that. Thank you for sharing the discovery. What are the odds that the CIG not only put this in here deliberately for us to find it, that they will not continue? Because I'm not so sure. Was this a bug? No, I don't think it's a bug. My question becomes, is CIG is a part of their marketing, is a part of our dynamic of exploration and the effort to go into an EPU that we know is very bad. It's not Evocati bad, but it ain't PTU bad either. Are these the type of things that give us incentive to go in and try and do things, not just run around and fly the latest ship or something? But if we know that there are things to discover and find, you found out not only this item, you found out that a loot box could be picked off the ground and put into inventory, which I never tried that. I never even thought about trying that. I went to a loot box, looked at it, saw the lid go boom and slam back down. I said, well, they must be busted. And I kept rolling. So what are the odds that maybe CIG put these in there deliberately, that they're not there by chance because somebody put down the wrong code? But you think that they could possibly do this type of thing as a way, like when we've talked about later on with Discovery, with finding new systems or new homesteads or whatever? Do you think that there will be some aspect that CIG, I'm not saying that's what this is, y'all. I'm just asking as a rhetorical question. Is it possible that they do things in there now that they want us to stumble across?
Yeah, I think I tend, for the most part, I think it's 75-25. I tend, for the most part, to assume professional people do professional things in a professional context for a professional purpose.
Okay.
Right. Sometimes, for example, there might be an occasional thing that gets data mined, went into the data, because there was a miss. But a lot of the times they put things in the data because they want it there, and the industrious among us get to find it.
Right.
You know, they had a lot of fun with putting the raptor in the data.
Right. Yeah, right.
Months before Triggerfish.
Right.
Because they could see the dynamic and they're paying attention to their community.
Mm-hmm.
Right. For the most part, I think if they put it in there, I tend to assume that they put it in because they intended to do what they intended to do, you know?
Yeah.
In my professional environments, I don't tend to do a lot of things I don't mean to do.
Yeah.
Right.
I love what you shared about Jade. I love what you shared about Jade. Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, I love what you shared about Jade, because I didn't know that. You know, because you and I had already had a conversation about it earlier in the day. And then you're telling me, and we said that is this some type of beacon possibly for the Apollo, because they've got the med bed thing that comes down and all this other stuff. And then you're telling me now that this thing could be seen not only, I was thinking as a beacon like a signal, but if you're telling me that this thing actually has a visual dynamic to it, where if someone's flying into a hot zone or picking up somebody, they can use this visually as well as something that's sending a signal. That's pretty cool. You know. Yeah,
I'm gonna give you this DM right now.
Okay.
Of the image that Jade sent me, so that if you can share it if you want.
Yeah.
But the idea here is, you grab this off the desktop. The idea here is that she's at a pretty long distance, and you can see the blue light of the medevac flare in the woods in the distance. You know, and
that's pretty crazy.
It's very cool. Here it is right here. I just sent it to you. So yeah, it is a small example of the fun that we can have when we are leaned into more of the direction of making our own fun. Right. And like that, when I say built for the alpha, everybody ain't built for that.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Everybody isn't built for all of this journey. I'm not built for all of this journey. I take breaks, right? But everybody isn't built for this journey and being consistent in it. And you know, Kai and others have said this. If this frustrates you, walk away for a while, right? Take a break. But for me, I like the idea of the weekly iterations and seeing what's new.
Okay.
Right. The other night we went and saw the evolution of the water physics. Right. And it was cool to test the water physics, not only looking at our own ship and the water trails behind us, but to see multiple ships.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And what was happening there, and was CIG iterating spray from the water up on your screen? Well, it's not physicalized, so how are they doing that? And just having that conversation and experiencing that stuff's cool to me.
Let me ask a question, and please bear with me. By the way, we're gonna give some strong credit here to Jade Star Watcher, who dug this up, did the hard work here of finding this thing. But I'm gonna try and zoom this in a little bit better, and you tell me if that's what we're looking at. Are we talking about that blue light that's off in the distance there?
Yep, that's exactly right. And so that's a flare that's on the ground and on, and this is where she is in her 100i. So that's how strong light it is. And this is daytime.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's very true. Okay. Wow. All righty. Listen, we got, since you're here, if you don't mind staying, I'm going to bring Pops in space in case he has any questions for you. And
sure.
Then we'll move on. Pops, you there?
Yes, I am.
Okay. Yeah. You're here. We can hear you.
Oh, okay. You know, I just wanted to say, Captain, and to people like Jade, Colossal, Karate, that do these types of investigation things for us. It's like Captain said, that's not me. I will go and I will trip over something like that, and then like, what the hell is this, and throw it out the way. You know, I won't even stop, or it will not even come into my mind. Look and turn, like he said, look, turn, move around this way. I'll look, I don't have time for that. You know, I'm trying to get cargo. I'm trying to get it from A to B.
Right.
So my whole point is, like we ran into, I think you told us, Griff, we could not launch to get into EPTU.
Uh-huh.
And we had to go into, as a group, we had to go into Arena Commander and launch from there. And I'm like, who thinks of these things
to be able to do something?
So, yeah, my hat is off to you, Kat.
So let me ask you a question, Pops, while we got you, because I'm going to bring Togi in a second. When you see this, now we're just theory crafting, y'all, okay? My suggestion is CIG threw this in on purpose is just my opinion. All right, could be wrong, could have been in there by accident, and someday I forgot to take it out. Not to mention, though, the fact that it was in there and it does work. Okay, we won't talk about that. So here's the part I want to ask about. Does the discovery of this make players, or even make you, Pops, say, ooh, let me go unmelt my Apollo? Does this inspire you to say, Invictus is coming up, right? Invictus is coming up. Let me buy an Apollo, because this makes you think that maybe they're moving forward. Or is it just like, oh, this is cool. Maybe it's associated with Apollo, but I ain't worrying about it right now. I'll wait till it comes out. What do you think? Hey, Jade, thank you for the resub. Jade, we showed your picture. Thank you for that picture. That was very cool. What do you think, Pops?
I tell you what, it gives me more questions than answer. It would not absolutely make me melt what I have, or because I'm like, why? First of all,
I'm not saying melt now. You ain't got to melt your stuff. I'm just saying, does it make you, if you've got an Apollo in your, buyback hanger, does this make you want to unmelt it or buy one when Invictus comes up, or are you more like, I'll just wait?
Yeah. This, what question this brings up in my mind?
Mm-hmm.
Why so specific?
Yeah.
Why is it RSI?
Well, and that's what I mean, because if it just said medical beacon, that could be any ship. But the fact that it's what Cap is saying, we already know that the Apollo, it's the medevac. The pack is even called a medevac pack. So it's just to lead us down the path of breadcrumbs that says this is associated to the Apollo.
Right, because then it takes me to another step, Griff. It takes me to, the Apollo right now, tell me if I'm right or wrong, is that that's the only medevac ship that we know of right now.
Uh-huh.
So is there going to be a MISC medevac that you have to have one of these?
Well, maybe. Now you really theory crafting, Pops. Listen, I got to do what we said earlier. Remember that guy earlier? The facts and the factual facts. The fact that we have is the RSI one. I don't want to start going beyond those, okay? My question to you is, does this inspire you? I'm laughing at what Kai said, because Kai said, spoiler alert, buy more ships. My question to you is, does this, when you see this, does it incentivize you to go get the Apollo, or are you like, that's cool, but I'm going to wait? I just want to know that. Which one is yours?
I got one. I do have one in my buyback. And I am, my fingers on the trigger, and I'll let you know by the end of the show.
All right. Fair enough. Fair enough, Pops. I'll buy that for $1. All right. Thanks, Pops. Let me see who else. We got, I think we got Togi was in next. Let me bring Togi in. Hey, Togi.
What up?
Back again.
So, RSI makes more than ships.
True.
All right.
That's right. That's fair. That's right.
They make your starting undersuit and helmet is RSI.
True.
All right. So I think that maybe the speculation of it having anything to do with the medevac is maybe a little bit stretchy.
Even though it's called medevac. Even though it's called medevac. Even though it's called medevac. Or medepac.
Yeah. Even though it's called
medevac's kind of there's two Apollos. It's not called an Apollo medevac pack. Do you have a different one for the Apollo triage then?
I don't know. I'm just asking because it says RSI and it says meta and it's red and their ship is like that. I'm just asking.
But there's also something else that
red too, for that
that we saw at SitCon that we're pretty sure that we know what it is. That is also medical and is also made by RSI. And that's a medical Ursa.
True. Yeah.
And you know what? Having that medical beacon for an RSI Ursa would be
just as good. Yeah, I got you.
Super useful.
Yeah, it would be. You're right.
And I'm not saying this because I am, hopelessly addicted to ground vehicles.
True.
That is
true.
That is not my intention.
True. Yeah. Okay. No, you're right. You're absolutely right. It could expand further beyond that. Yeah. I think the point that Cap mentioned to me that caught my attention yesterday was when he said, it's interesting that this is the first time we found an item that has a ship manufacturer name on it. Right. And that was probably the thing that stuck with me more than anything. If it was just a med pack or, Beacon generic, but the fact that it did have RS on it is what really sprung in my head. And you're right. It maybe doesn't mean that doesn't mean that this has to be dedicated just to the Apollo. It could be a universal device and just that RSI is the company that manufactures them,
Yeah, I mean, maybe it's because they know that thing's coming and they're going to make it like one of the little items that are in the, like medical chest or first aid kit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that would be cool.
Could totally be.
It could be. Yeah, combat medic stuff would be great. If you had a pack that was specific to that with all these type of items in it, that would be really neat. Lutrino, thank you for the follow. We appreciate you. Thanks for being here. Okay. Yeah. All right. Good stuff. All right, Togi. Yeah. Bring in the facts, the factual facts. We appreciate that. All right. Let me bring in Fist to Face next. Then we'll bring in Admiral. And then we're going to move on.
Hey.
Fist?
Okay. Yes. Hey, how are you? All right. So I'm not as excited.
Okay.
I'm like, okay, it's cool.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if it was something for the Orion.
Oh, don't start that. Don't start that. Don't start that. Okay. Okay. Well, okay. Let me ask you a question, though. If it was a trinket, let's say there was some type of trinket, right? And it was associated to you to mining in the Orion. Is that something you would wait on? Or is it something that would make you unmelt? Because it's, something that's
I wouldn't unmelt. I just buy me another Orion.
Lord. Oh my goodness.
He said another.
Oh my goodness.
Have 3 or 4.
Oh,
there you go.
My goodness.
Exactly.
Okay. All right.
That's my baby.
Griff, I sent you an image of the
I'm bringing it
item
up
in my
now.
inventory so that people could see the name
I got
that it was given.
Thank you. All right, Fist. We will make sure anytime it's something mining related, we'll make sure we call on you too. Next time when it comes in, okay? Yeah. All right. Thanks, bro. All right. Let me bring in Admiral Kusanagi. Admiral, are you there?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
There he is.
Saturday.
What's going on?
Hey, sir. How's it going, Cap Serious? It's funny. I actually have LED lights in my car that I use as warning signal.
Mm-hmm.
And I was looking at this. It's like, well, it's kind of like a rescue. It's like a warning beacon or something like that. Certainly, it's like almost like a flare one would use in a combat zone. If there's a way to see it during the day, it would be interesting because I don't know how you see if it's a bright so blue that you see it in a bright sun. It's interesting to find a location. But either way, at first I was just like, just like a warning flare. You can pick, looking for a tow truck to pick you up your ship.
Right.
But the fact that it has medevac on it, I mean, maybe it has to do with search and rescue. But I would think this would be on your regular person. Like the Apollo wouldn't have this on them. I mean, maybe.
Right.
Well, unless you're like a C8R person and you need a bigger ship to come
drop
rescue more people, then maybe something like that. I'm just trying to think of situations where you would need this. Maybe a medic. That if you had a medic in your group, they would probably have one of these if you needed a rescue ship to follow up. But I wouldn't see them like naturally on like an Apollo themselves because the Apollo's the one trying to land at the location.
Right. No, we're not saying it would be on the Apollo at all. We're just saying it's a beacon to call one to come to you or rescue you. You're right. No, absolutely right.
Yeah, I think you guys were kind of on the good route there. I was leaning towards what Toby was saying in terms of like, it could be used for other things. Like, for instance, the Terrapin, which many people don't know is most here I think do. It's also used as a search and rescue ship. So who makes that? Doesn't RSI make the
That's
Terrapin?
Anvil.
Anvil.
Yeah, it could be a universal device. It doesn't have to be that it only works with the Apollo. Right. Yeah. No, that's a good point.
But, anyways.
Okay. No, that's great. That's a great point. All right. Thank you, Admiral. Okie dokie. We got through everybody. Thank you, Captain, for both the post on Reddit and sharing and clarifying. We'll just have to see what it is. I do think it's interesting that it's there. Maybe it was a leftover, with development, or maybe it was put there with the hopes that someone from the community who digs hard enough might stumble across something that gives us an inkling of, if nothing else, the direction that CIG is going in. I never thought about
either way, it's fun.
Yeah.
Either way, it's fun.
It is. It is.
Thanks, Griff.
You had to give me a reason to go out there and look for one now. Thanks, brother. All right. Okay. All right. Let's hit this last topic for today. And how are we doing on our time? Oh, we're right on time. We're doing okay. Let me do a commercial break first before I get to this next one, because it's going to be the topic for our show today. And if you want to get something to drink, go to the bathroom. Perfect time to do it. It's only a 1-minute break. And then we will be back with the rest of the show. So see you in a second. If you're a subscriber, you are not seeing the commercial, so you get to watch me drink. Excuse me. And for those of you who are subscribers, our next topic is going to be the topic for today, which is why so serious. So that's what we're going to be talking about. So as always, you guys can come in and join, especially if you're a subscriber. I'd love to hear from you guys. Always get to hear from some of the regulars. And don't get me wrong, I love my regulars because they're here faithfully supporting us, but love to hear some new voices too. So you guys feel free to come in and chat with me and share your thoughts about this subject. Because I think this one, I'm going to need some help on this one, because this isn't going to be about me talking. I really want to hear the community's thoughts on this particular topic. Okay. So let's see, we're about to pop out of here in 3, 2, 1, boom. Okay. And we are back. Glad to have you guys back. Hope you enjoyed that commercial. All right, let's hit our last topic for the day here, gang. This one here. Why so serious? Why so serious? I've been observing over the last couple weeks on Spectrum and Reddit. Yeah, mostly Spectrum and Reddit. Really Spectrum. Star Citizen people are a great community. I mean, we have a really, really cool community. You know, we're a little crazy too, but we are really a good community. And a lot of people who come into this community talk about how friendly and how this is like a community that's like just totally different than other gaming communities. But there are times when we're very passionate, like we're like really, really passionate, like really, really passionate. And, and sometimes the passion seems to cross a line, you know, sometimes it crosses a line. And there are sometimes things happen in the community that I'm just speaking personally. I feel like, man, you went too far. You know, you've crossed the line. I know you may have time invested in this thing. I know you may have money invested in this thing. I know you have your feelings invested in this thing. But man, sometimes it just goes too far. It just goes too far. Recently, I've been following a couple content creators, and I share this this content creator with some of my friends because it's some of the stuff they say is just so ludicrous. In one breath, this person's talking about how CIG is just not doing what they're supposed to do, that they are just dragging us along, that it doesn't make sense what they're doing. And he talks about the people who spend all this money on the game. And in the next breath, he says, but here's my referral code if you want to sign up for the game. And he was very quick to say, there's nothing up against the game if you want to sign up a referral code. But he spends the majority of the video ratting on either Star Citizen's playability or ratting on even the player base. Just recently, he kind of went off on the player base. I've had people who went off about the developers and like spoken in very harsh terms. Very bad. Stop it, Kai. not Yacht Club. Spoken very harshly about the developers. You know, they don't know what they're doing, or they're sitting around making money and they're just dragging this on so that they can make money. I've heard people talk terribly about Chris Roberts. Everything from he's out on his yacht, that it's a scam, or that he's nothing but a liar. So in a video game, and I have to come back to that, y'all, in a video game. Why are people so serious? Why? What is it about Star Citizen that can sometimes create such vitriol and such toxicity that doesn't let people just, if there's something I'm not into, if I don't dig it, if it's not doing what it needs to do for me, if I feel funny about it, I go somewhere. I leave it alone. I don't spend time writing unless it's like I'm to the Better Business Bureau. I don't spend time blogging. I don't spend time watching other people's videos. I don't do that. I move on. I let go. Even if I have things invested in it, even if I have time and money invested in it, if it's not benefiting me, I move on. So what are your thoughts? Why are people so serious? Is it fake seriousness? I mean, is all this angst, is the guy who's ratting on Star Citizen and at the same time telling you to take his referral code if you want to sign up for the game, is he doing that because it's the grift? He knows there are people out there who want to hear that, and at the same time, he wants the views and he wants the referrals? Or is he doing it because he honestly feels like he's informing the community? But at the same time, he's still for the game, but these are the things he doesn't like. What are some of the motivations here? But why are people so serious? What is it about Star Citizen that, in 1 second, for the majority of us, is very positive and very good community. But on the other side, we got some haters. We got some people out there who really feel a certain kind of way about this whole development process. Let me go to Pops, and we'll kick it off from there. Yeah, Pops.
Yeah, hey, I'm back again, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now this is my opinion.
Okay.
And I just wanted everybody to realize that my opinion counts only for me.
Everything on here is opinions. Don't worry. All of us are giving opinions. Right. Trust me.
I'm going to say for certain people, it's for money. It's for clickbait.
Okay.
Like you said, how can they be giving out their referral code to come in and do the game? Some of these people are spending a majority of their day in the game, but they're talking about how much they hate it. It's just clickbait. It's for money. They earn a certain living for it, and they've got a large following for it. And my opinion is that's not for me. That's something that's a road I would not go down. Okay. That's for me.
So you think it's basically not that they're true believers, but this is all manufactured. It's all fake. They're just doing it to get the views and the hits, basically.
I think they take a little bit of something that can possibly be true. They take a subject, right? They'll say in that subject, this is not correct, and they'll go and then they'll go from there to the moon. And Chris Roberts was drunk when he fell down the stairs. He broke 3 of his legs. And all
right. So basically, they'll take a little something and blow it up out of proportion, and they know it'll draw people to watch them. Basically, so they're going for the clicks, like you said. Okay. All right, Pops, I'll take that. Thank you, sir. All righty. Let me bring in a little bit of madness. We haven't had a little bit of madness in yet. He hasn't been here today. Little bit. What's up?
Yo, what's up?
How are you?
I thought I'd just come in and do a Joker impression for you. You want to know how I got these scars? My father was a drinker and a fiend.
Not bad.
And one day he bought me a Star Citizen spaceship.
There you go. I knew you were going to go to Star Citizen.
Crazy.
Oh, that's good. I like that. You got any thoughts on why people feel so extreme, get worked up, fired up?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's fucking shit. 12 years. God damn, man. It's fucking, yeah. It's bloody ages.
Okay.
It's ages. And we're talking about bloody red little cube boxes.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like, yeah, of course.
Okay.
Of course. No, it genuinely, I think a lot of people, it's the cycle. For some people, they get out of the cycle. But some people, they go through that kind of like, I've seen it. I see people all the time. I've been around here a long time. You and I have seen it. They start, it's like, I think they're just very intensive, passionate people at the start. And you can't say anything wrong about the project to them. I see it all the time. They come in and you'll have people who've been there a few years before and they'll come in and they'll like start streaming or start content creating for the project and start, this is the best game they've ever played. Nothing beats it. You can't say anything negative about the project to them because they will lose their shit on you. You're the worst person. Then it's like it's suddenly you see the cracks forming because they start to get frustrated. Things aren't maybe happening that they want at their pace, and then you start to see the negativity starts to kind of like erode the shell, and then before you know it, they are at that danger point where they flip into full passionate negative mode. Do you know what I mean? And then it's like they just that's what kind of one type of person I've noticed that those people then, and then the next thing you know is it's like as if they've seen the light and you haven't. And then you like misery. Someone said misery loves company. They want you to see it too. And you could say, people could say it's like, you know, like they've seen the light, you're still completely blinded. You don't know what the deal is. And then they want to try and convert you to their way of thinking, and they lose their shit about it. Do you know what I mean? And so there's kind of this that goes on, but in all seriousness, like, I mean, the game is, I was just chatting to Fist, it has developed at a snail's pace at times. You know what I mean? So it's like, I understand why people get frustrated. They put a lot of money, a lot of time, a lot of energy, and they were told to a degree and kind of sold. This, we can't be, they are sold, you know, there's videos and pictures and things that we've seen. They do paint a strong picture of something that is not necessarily
really there
yet.
I agree.
You know,
I agree.
So you know, it's like I understand where they're coming from, but I do think that, you know, if you are reaching the point when you are losing your shit, you need to look genuinely, just cool your jets. Don't be the party pooper. Just go and
play Hill
chill
Divers.
Out, you know, take a
play
break.
Hill Divers.
You know, just take a break, man. Because like I didn't do that. Like initially, I was just getting saltier and saltier on the project because I was I loved it for a long time. Since I was in that wave, I was like, love the game, and then they started to change things. They took out the Gladius's middle com thing. They started to do things that I didn't like, and it was affecting my experience, and I was getting frustrated. Then changed the flight model, blah 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 blah, and then I just was not happy with it. Then eventually I took my friend's advice and just was like, oh, do you know, I just need to put this shit down. I need to just take a step back. I need to walk away. I'm too emotionally invested in it. I just need to just chill out. It's just a computer game. I know I put a chunk of money that I would never put into anything normally in my life in a computer game, but just take a step back and play it. And I've been loving it ever since. Genuinely, I play it every couple of months. When there's a new patch, I played it over Christmas. It was fantastic. We played all the salvage stuff with my friends. It was great. But I think for people, why so serious? I think it's just you need to take a look at yourself if you get into that place. And don't be what really doesn't need to happen is people just don't need to just throw the usual thing at these people and go, it's an alpha, man. It's an alpha. How come you don't know? That just riles people up even more. It pisses people off so much more because you see it, you go, hang on a minute, you haven't got the scars. A lot of people here, you haven't gone through the shit, you haven't been through you have that journey yet to come. You know what I mean? Like, or maybe you'll be lucky, you won't have that journey. And I feel lucky for those backers who won't have that experience. They're all going to have a totally different fun experience when the game gets to that stage in the future. Do you know what I mean? But for me, it's like we got a lot of scars. There's a lot of people who got a lot of scars from this game development process. So, you know, don't be throwing things, you know, it's normal, but it's like, don't throw the, you know, it's an alpha or you don't know, man, you know, both ways. You weren't there. You know what I mean? It's like,
no, it's a good point. It's a good point. And by the way, good Joker impression. Okay. Good Joker impression. Thanks, Madness. It's so funny. All right. Let me bring in Fist to Face. And then after that, I got Kai, and then we're going to wrap it up. Fist.
Hey, what's happening?
I'm okay.
Okay, you know what? I'm may ruffle a little feathers on this one, but you know, my thing is that all right. For what you said earlier about, you know, the content creator, and then on the flip side, you know, come use my code to get into the game. Instead of it saying why so serious, can we say it? Why are you falling for the grift?
Well,
you know what I mean? I mean, just be real.
Is it a grift? I mean, this person would probably say that I'm just telling the truth about the state of the game, and I'm willing to admit that I'm a backer. I'm not speaking from the outside, you know. But this is where the game is. I'm just saying, maybe that's what maybe that's where their head is.
But listen, let me say this, because if I understand, if this is the person that you saw, and I watched the video, I'm not naming names, I'm just saying, I watched the video recently, and I saw that person, you know, go off, and I'm talking about go off. I'm talking about from calling somebody from this way to that way, and then if this is the person, and then saying, you know, hey, come buy my vitamins, you know, like you know, whatever, you know, to support me in this in my endeavors, then yeah, come on now. I'm not going, you know, mince words on that.
Okay.
Nah,
okay. So you think it's about the grift? You think it's really about the grift?
Come on now. I mean,
that's what they're about.
It is. Now, as far as like, you know, like Little Bit of Madness, like we just talked about in the channel earlier. You know, for those that have been through the struggle, and I understand, you know, been through the 12 years. Yeah, you know, I get it.
Yeah, and I want to make sure I want to be clear about this. I'm not talking about people expressing frustration. That is not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about people whose level of expression, I was saying earlier about, to me, where it goes beyond the limits, where there becomes derogatory conversation toward the developers, for example.
That's why I had the problem.
Yeah,
that's why I had the problem when I watched if this is the same person, and I watched the video, and I'm sitting there saying, and I'm like, listen, and like I've said this before in conversation with you and Colossal and others, you know. And the thing about the internet is, it's a funny thing. Would you say what you just said to their face?
To their face, yeah. Yeah. It's easy to be the keyboard warrior, right?
It's easy to be that way.
Yeah.
You know, because you don't know, if you step to any one of them developers, you don't know, they might have that gangster in them.
That's true. That's true.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
They might have that gangster in them, like, say what?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
absolutely. Yeah. Okay. Fair enough. All right. Thank you, brother. All right. Last but not least, we're going to bring in Kai, then I'll give you guys my thoughts. Hey, Kai.
Hey.
Oi.
We come down to what I said earlier. Everybody
go touch the grass. I know you always tell
everybody
people, go touch the grass.
Like, these are my facts, and I have to convince you. Everybody's Perry Mason all of a sudden, and you're the jury, and they absolutely need you to agree with them. Look, if you like Android, then like Android. You like iPhone, then like iPhone. You like Apple, then this. You like... you know, whatever. I like basketball. I think basketball's dumb. I love football. Football sucks. Hockey's the greatest. Hockey's boring. I love baseball. So okay. So people just need to learn in this game, on the internet, in politics, in life. People need to learn two magical words, Griff. Ready?
Okay.
This is the magical words that will fix your Thanksgiving when you got that one uncle that's he won't shut up about how Trump's gonna fix things, right? Here, these are the two magical words.
Okay.
Fair enough. You just say fair enough. Chris Roberts is actually a secret lizard person that kills babies. Fair enough. Pass the mashed potatoes. Just fair enough. Pivot, change the conversation. I'm never going to convince you of my things. You're never going to convince me of your things. I thought the great thing about America is we all get to be our own assholes. Like, why do you have to agree with my thing or my day's no good?
Right.
Just fair enough and walk the fuck away.
Okay, so let me ask you a question.
Live your life.
You know, you and I always have our good point counterpoint.
Yes, sir.
Okay. The amount of energy I've seen people put into Star Citizen. Sometimes I say, man, if you took that energy and put it into starting a business, you'd be a millionaire. You know, the amount of blog time, the amount of posting, the amount of whatever. And so my question is, when I ask about why it's so serious, what is it that drives people to the point where, what is it? And maybe it's not Star Citizen, maybe it's gaming, right? Because that kind of behavior doesn't necessarily have to be restricted to this game, right? I'm just speaking about this one because that's what the show is about, a Star Citizen. What is it that makes people not, you always give this suggestion about, hey, sometimes you need to go outside and touch some grass, think about what's important in life, breathe fresh air, things like that. What is it that makes people so obsessed almost with their positioning in gaming? And I won't even keep it limited to Star Citizen. What is it? Listen, I'm not making no money off this. I'm not like it's improving my life any better other than a few hours of entertainment. I'm not the CEO who's going to get the check for the game, right? When it's all said and done. What is it that makes people so intense? And I'm not talking about because the game's not out. What is it that makes people feel so passionate that I will find the time to talk about these developers don't know what they're doing? And I don't just say that once because I have a bad day, but I mean, this is my thing, my mantra. I'm churning videos out every week talking about this stuff. There's a lot of other stuff I could be talking about, a lot of stuff I could be doing. What is it that makes people that intense?
Here's the problem.
Okay.
What is it? Weak people.
Okay.
We nerfed the world starting back in like the 80s.
Okay.
When they started putting labels on fucking coffee cups that says, warning, coffee may be hot. Don't spill it in your lap. Warning, do not eat the cable on your monitor. Oh my God, please, whatever you do, don't put the gas nozzle directly into your mouth. Like, we nerfed the world and we made all these weak people. And now people are too goddamn weak to just live their life and let other people have their opinions.
Okay.
And that's the problem.
Okay.
However, I came up with my point and you said you had a counterpoint. And after thinking about it, I have a response to your counterpoint.
Okay.
Fair enough.
All right, Kai, bye. All right. No, that was good. Okay, gang. Thank you guys for being here today. For those of y'all who don't know the coffee story, make sure that somebody explains to you about the hot coffee deal. I remember that. I had my problems with that one too, but we won't get into that. But anyway, thank you, Kai. Let's talk about what we have coming up. Today is Podsat Saturday, and it is the day where we have partnered with other content creators in the Star Citizen community, where we like to share our thoughts and things, all the stuff about Star Citizen on a Saturday afternoon and evening. And one of our partners, one of our good friends, is Paul Shelley, the Astropub. And so, we are going to be sending you guys over to Paul's show. Paul right now looks like he's got Ferrasalt and HC Vertigo on the show with him today. And so that will be a great conversation. Paul brings on other content creators and folks in the community to give their thoughts about what's the latest in Star Citizen. And they're going to be talking about engineering. For those of you who have not gone into the Arena Commander and checked out the new engineering, you should check it out. Yes, it is at tier 0, but I will tell you this, it is so cool. And you're going to see why engineering is going to be very important. Engineers are going to be worth their dime, y'all. So if y'all listen, trust me, you're going to want engineers on your ship, especially if you have a big ship, no question about it. But the features are very cool, and we're just at the very beginning tiers of the development for it. And you can also see where they're probably going to take this even further. So check it out when you get a chance. We're going to let you go over there and hear what they have to say about engineering. Also tomorrow evening at 7 p.m. Eastern time, we're going to be doing our show called The Content of Your Character. For those of you who know that right now in the EPTU, we've been checking out the new character generator. And in that new generator, there's just so much stuff you can do. I mean, this is the character generator we've been waiting on forever. You can create your avatar like you want it, like yourself. Whatever you've imagined, you can import it, you can export it, you can save it, you can have multiple ones. It is really, really cool. And it takes a second just to get used to it, but once you understand how they've got it laid out, you can go boom, 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 boom. It is really, really exciting. Tomorrow, we've got some of the Soul Citizens who will be here to talk about it. By the way, Jade and Cap, I didn't send this out, so please forgive me. I need some examples. I got to tell Yo-Yo too. Make some examples. Make at least 3 examples of stuff that you guys have done. But I'm going to put that out in a message for them too, for they know about it. That's going to be tomorrow, 7 p.m. Eastern time. So you guys make sure you guys come back and check out that show. And don't forget, Thursdays we do Soul Talk with Fast Cart. That's our roundtable conversation. We get to come in with a group of other Star Citizen backers and share your thoughts about what the latest is and from ISC and SCL and just stuff that's going on within this week in Star Citizen. And that's also on Thursdays at 8 p.m. Eastern time. 9 p.m. Eastern time. You guys can be able to join that show. So that's about it. I want to say thank you to everybody who came in. Thank you for the subs. Thank you for the follows. Really appreciate everybody being here today. Hope you guys have a great weekend. Don't forget, if you're in the Chicago area tonight, there is a Bar Citizen that's taking place. Maiden Ariana's throwing it. It's going to be out in Downers Grove. We do have under our events channel in the Soul Citizens Discord where that location is going to be. There are tickets still available for it. CIG staff will be there today with us as well. So it'll be a really special event. My understanding is that I think they've got like nearly over 100 people, or I don't know how many people are coming. There's quite a few people that are going to be there. So that's going to be from 5 p.m. Central till 11 p.m. tonight. So that'll be a long Bar Citizen. I ain't standing the whole time. Anyway, thank you guys for being here as always. Take care of yourselves. And as always, peace, love, and soul. See you soon. Ciao.